You can... Wait, what? You're making sure the other guy doesn't get to say first. It just has... Yeah, he can still say it. It's just not going to mean the same thing, you know what I mean? Well, welcome. Thank you all for getting here so early. There's so much to talk about. Special prize for the early people. Just kidding. This isn't Oprah. Buck McGregor, autism musician. What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the Funk Day, nice and early. The Funk Day, what am I talking about? It's Studio and Chill. And today we're going to be talking to another member of the Funk Academy here. We're going to wait for him to show up. We're going to make sure he's actually coming on. Let's see here. Oh. There he is. So. Hey, and he's right in the chats there. We're going to be talking to Christian Doman. What's cooking? We're cooking some Studio and Chill, I guess. Christian, we're gonna let everybody join in, and we'll have our talk. But yeah, till then. What? Autism musician, thanks for the tip there, man. Wow, what a great gift. Thank you, dude. You getting the new little Akai tomorrow? Is the Akai MPK Mini? Which little Akai? Tell me more. Thank you, autism musician. That's one heck of a gift. For that, I'll drop the beat. The MK4, you say, hey? Let's see here, the Akai MK4, MK4. Is that the one with the little synth engine built into it? Pressure sensitive, real time, feedback, navigation. Yeah, doesn't it have a little enhanced arpeggiator? Yeah. That's a pretty sweet piece of gear, man. I had like one of the MK early ones. It was old. I got it in Vegas, I think. Sick. Well, congratulations on your new Akai MPK MK4. I'm sure you'll be making some pretty good music on that guy. What else is going on, everyone? Are you guys ready for the winter? It's getting so cold. Nice. It has a keyboard like the Keystep. Thank you, Buck. I had no idea. Like this one? This kind of keyboard or this kind of keyboard? You got the DeepMind in the mail, and that's the... Damn, you got the MPK and a DeepMind. Can the MPK, does it control MIDI as well? I didn't look at it too much. Arcturia. Guess what I got in the mail today? I finally got my PIN verification for YouTube and Google AdSense and all that stuff, so finally. If you guys want, try to guess what two synths are doing that bass line. You guys will probably hate this, but I just posted a new TikTok. If you want to go find Funktuate on TikTok and go like my new post, I gotta be everywhere, you know what I mean? But I test all my videos out on TikTok first. Peak and Proton Autism Musician is guessing. You're half right. I'm not gonna tell you which half, but you're half right. Two Digatacos. Digatacos? Oh, I know what you did there now. Digataco. Wrong again. I'll solo it again here. You can... What gives it away, Autism Musician? Let's actually see. We'll do a process of elimination now. I'll go move the cutoff on the peak. We got nothing happening. Let's go move the filter frequency on the Moog. And then go over to the Proton. Yeah, you guys get the point. It's a pretty dope little relationship those guys have. They play off each other nicely. Like, yeah. They sound pretty similar, actually. Similar, but Moog is always better, right? You couldn't get it? How come? What happened? You couldn't get it? What's going on with that? that being a lot sicker at one point. Nice. The cat is meowing hard outside. I'd let him in, but guys, he's scratched. Thank God I still have the plastic on the screen on the launch control, but I let Sonny, I didn't even let him. He just jumped up like onto the desk here, and he sliced a nice little claw mark into the plastic on the launch control. Thank God it wasn't on the screen. Terrible, terrible, terrible. A Berlin school vibe to build. Let me build it up for you again then, bud. Let me actually get like a little sequence down. We'll start it off in that key, and then we'll go to F, and then we'll go to that note. I don't want to spoil anything. Let's try that on its own little loop. It's like, oh, Canada. Alright. Oh, Canada. I need to switch that note. Let's go to that one. Not quite Berlin. Sorry, but... Oh, did you mean like shopping or hoping? Oh, was hoping. Was shopping. Was shopping. Can I get that up to Berlin vibes? Trying to tame that distortion. That sounds like ass. Let's go back to our comfy spot. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. Fun hearts and great. Yeah. They are. That wasn't even hard sync, believe it or not. That was just a 7th on top. There's hard sync. Cool. That's hard sync. All right, Christian, you want to get the show on the road and have a chit chat or what, bud? I can call you on Discord. Message me back and I'll give you a shout here. We did some hard sync. Yeah, it's a sick synth. Buy a Moog Subsequent 37 if you haven't yet. All right. All right, we're going to get Christian Doming on the line, guys. Let's make sure that this is all good to go. Let's go to Discord. Yes. Okay. Let's see. All right, we're doing another one of these sort of podcasty sort of studio and chills where we talk to the viewers. We as in me, and I guess you guys. You guys can ask questions in the chat, and I will do my best to ask the guest. So again, today we have Christian Doming throughout doing the Funk Days and the streams and whatnot. He's dropped some pretty insane names and things that he's done and people he's met. So, you know what? I figured why not get him on? He's probably got some cool stories. So we're going to hear firsthand about some of his experiences and whatnot. So You know what? I'm just gonna give him a ring. Let's see what happens here. Starting the voice call. Christian.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's going on?
All right. I'm just gonna make sure I don't got too much of a delay or anything.
Yeah, if you're listening to me on the stream, it's probably going to be weird.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I know YouTube has at least like a 10 to 15 second latency. It's weird.
Oh, all right. No, yeah, that's why I wanted to confirm it.
Sweet.
What's up, Funkers?
Yeah. I
With
guess
the N
that's
and K.
is that all right? Like, is that an all right name for you guys? I don't want it to seem like so insulting. But again, it's not what you think it is. It's Funkers with an N. Sweet, Christian.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've been watching for quite a while. You've been a very familiar name coming across the chats, and yeah, like I mentioned, you come up, or not come up, sorry, but you have some pretty interesting things to say, and you've met some pretty cool people. So like, what do you do in the music industry that gets you so close, and what gets you these opportunities?
Right on. Great question. Yeah. So, what really gets it is the 10% of the industry skill, which is networking. But the networking I do is not online and more word of mouth. A lot of traffic in Miami are relative in the music industry and within art, media in general, um, and electronic music, encompassed with a lot of word of mouth, where you are primarily going to get introduced and liked by someone only if you're kind of like tagging along, not click style, but more friend of a friend, but they're going to introduce to them personally in a way, and you guys are going to grow a relationship that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So many different industries are going to be crafted around ideas, money, and projects. But in the underground scene, really, there's so much word of mouth where if you, for example, are a touring DJ and you happen to have a gig at a club on a Saturday night, you have connections there if you've been there before. And if not, it's wiser to get there early than just not even get a hotel, right? If you do get there early, you get pros to being on a podcast show, going out, enjoying the city with friends of a label, old friends you've produced with in the past, and things like that. And that's what makes Miami the way it is. When you go out to dinner, you would see some really famous DJs and performers literally next to the table next to you,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd find out, it's a lot of different artists and labels from the same genre industry together at that table. You're like, wow, like I can't believe they're sitting next to us type of scene, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean really about the word of mouth and hanging in. There is click style, labels and parties, but I get a lot of my interactions that way, primarily because of the artists I do surround myself with, right? And
For
that's
sure.
a part of the lay of the lands, right? It's you get influenced and revolved around the type of people in an industry that you surround yourself with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever art you're in, and so I get to stay within that realm by also following, the rules of engagement of kind of staying underground as much as
Nice.
like DVS1 says, when you're famous and your name's all over the place, you're no longer underground. Great, you made success and everyone knows you and you can pack a place, but now you might settle to a moniker when you want to explore and play different tracks
Yep.
any time of the night you want.
We've
And
seen a lot of
so
DJs do that.
yeah, and a lot of DJs they'll ruin their favorite name, and they'll lose a bunch of followers by not following rules of engagement of the underground. And different practices like that we see all every day, even in the dolls world, of which you apply music to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you got um, you got guys posting their videos and trying to reach out and branch out, And then you got other guys of the spectrum that don't put their videos at all online, and they have tremendous amount of reach, and they're on huge techno labels and such. And you're like, wow, I don't see his face. I don't see him online at all. You can't even find a video or recording of him. It's just because that's not in his reach. He's following the different rules of engagement, right? And staying only to their craft and underground. They're sticking to their craft and making music like you. That's their art, and they're going to leave it to the professionals that they hire or that revolve around them to get paid or pay themselves by spreading his music, and they'll get their cut if he gets successful. And so it's really cool in an industry to see, how different rules of engagement and how different strategies of getting your stuff out there and media out there in general, not just music, right? And I know you wanted to talk about Diplo, and that's something I'll bring up a little later when you're ready.
That was just kind of
how big he gets.
Because after everything that you've said in the chats, the Diplo thing was really just the foot in the door. But yeah, before you mentioned just like the face-to-face interaction and not being so much of like an online presence for the because word of mouth speaks for itself. But do you find that more important in this day and age in terms of like just getting just any musician in general, like having a more face-to-face basis on like interacting with people and all that? Because I feel like when the internet first got introduced, people were taking advantage of that. And now that the internet's so saturated, people are taking advantage of face-to-face interaction now. It's kind of the new thing that people don't expect that sticks.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely changed with communication and the internet's ways of presenting your art differently. When SoundCloud was big, it was easy enough that people would simply just send over your SoundCloud, and that would be like a part of your press kit for them to listen to you and understand you. And because the person that referred you to them to go play at their club and travel and go play at their club, they're like, oh, I never heard the guy, but I trust this guy. He sent a lot of cool guys over who've rocked the night and sold out the place. And such. So SoundCloud was like, one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, send me your SoundCloud, right?
Yeah.
And to get different venues to understand and stuff. But then press kits grew and demand grew with that word of mouth not being enough, where that venue owner's friend or that person's friend is a little shady because he's like, oh, he sent us like 4 guys and 2 of them were good, 2 of them were not.
Yeah.
And is this girl just a diva DJ or is she actually good? What time should we put that slot in? And, those conversations happen. And it's even harder for those who play live and require more stage presence and, not stage presence, sorry, stage equipment setup.
Yeah.
With the team.
That's my biggest thing right now is because I'm trying to get some entry slots, but everybody's like, man, the changeover for this like style of gig that we're doing, it doesn't like, we're not really like down for that. I'm like, I know, but like it's just gonna be an RCA. I can run out. It'll be all good. But yeah, it's a tough sell even for like just putting yeah.
I mean, you got a point. It is a tough sell sometimes, and especially to some different venues who've tried it. I've definitely in Miami, had venues where it's like, yeah, we tried it before, and it didn't go too well, and people started leaving early, and they were the last people up, and I've heard those things. But then those clubs actually started coming back with more dollar stuff now. People want the more uniqueness, and they want more people live. And that's why we're seeing a lot of hybrid DJs with the push 3 and the tractor, or just with some bits of instruments at minimal within a DJ setup, because people are craving it, right?
See, I'm trying to like simulate a DJ setup to a certain degree with the equipment. I try to fade in and out of different samples. And then like the hardest thing for me is achieving like a uniform sound. Because, like, obviously, you're never going to be able to get, like, that studio quality mix and mastered, polished, track live off the floor. But, like, that's been the chase for me, because since I've started doing, like, the Funk Day and doing all that kind of stuff, I hate getting into Ableton and writing. Because, it's just, like, like I don't hate the way music has gone technologically, but the amount of options you has seems very like neutering to some degree. Like the whole thing has almost become like a sound design Olympics. And did you get this plugin? No, I haven't. You got to get this plugin, you know. And it's just like, oh,
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah,
it's
that's a good point.
it's just become like a subscription plague in my eyes. And it's like I got Live 12 and all of the new features I glaze over and I'm just like, hey, I just want my simple compression, all that kind of stuff. If I am even working in Ableton. But since I lost my projects on that hard drive, I've just been hovering over the synths and trying to figure out just like being able to record a left and right and release music that way.
Ah, gotcha. Understood. I definitely want to get you one of my Ableton templates and see if you like it. I got a couple cool customizations for live synths and what you can do with different things already kind of in a master process. Maybe I'll send it over and I think you'll like it.
That'd be sick.
But
yeah, we'll check it out on the live. We'll play around with it.
Yeah, the cool thing about Ableton is that it did like not technically buy, but it got rights to like developers like Satomic, which is like and other emulators with like Solid State Live Logic. So you got the same way they have native plugins that replicate their algorithms with their hardware. Ableton is taking that money you're investing in Live to actually get really nice plugins for themselves. Because, you know, at the end of the day, they have to compete with Plugin Alliance and all these other great plugin companies. And so they're actually getting rights to some of their own tools. So over time, the devices are only going to get better, which is a cool thing.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about Isotope and you know, FabFilter Q Pro and all the other guys, you know, you have a great selection, a bunch of stuff to load and save money on compared to hardware. But ultimately, it's that you're going to focus back into arrangement in a DAW, and if you're not using the push or a controller, you're losing that real DAW-less feel when creating your music and perhaps even getting into synthesis a whole different way. It's really different within the DAW compared to actually trying to build it within your own favorite synthesizers and modular or whatever chain you're going to build. And I definitely felt you when you said DJing between boxes. I actually toured a little bit with the Digitact and Digitone alone and with the Octatrack in between, not really working as a DJ mixer, but I was probably not the only person, but there wasn't a lot of people using the Octatrack as a mixer at that time.
Yeah, it became a pretty good standard.
Yeah, it became a standard, and people kind of perfected that layout. But I would have projects with both Digitone, Digitact, and Octatrack, kind of just running some samples, top loops, and such. But it was mostly the FX processor there and whatnot. And I think I had the old analog heat at the tail end to get for the extra oomph. But it was really much like an Elektron setup, and I can hit so much different ranges in there. Previously, I had the analog 4 and the rhythm, but moved that out. I still have those today, but I moved that out, but just chose the 2 Elektron boxes in the Octatrack. And slowly but surely, I was like, all right, well, it looks like everything's getting really melodic. And so I slowly added the Sub 37, got a big ass case. And then the Peak, right?
Yeah.
The Novation Peak.
The Peak is amazing.
The Oxford oscillators there was great. And this was before there was the whole patches with the FM synthesis and such. But it was amazing. It still is. Yeah, it still is. I got the Summit after that.
Ooh.
And I learned the Summit's better, sure, but we were talking about 3 times the size and weight. And what I learned was if I double my track in Ableton, if I'm multi-tracking, the peak, I could get the summit.
Pretty
With
much,
the right
yeah,
skill.
double the
So like there
voices.
was, yeah. So I was able to get the summit out of that. But so got rid of the summit and got the OB6. That's Oberheim, right?
Hmm.
Remake from David Smith, sequentials, and still got to this day. Can't can't really choose another synth in that like realm that I would want, except the Prophet 5, which is more edgier. But
Yes. I was actually
it
gonna
is,
sell the
yeah.
Peak to get the Rev 2. I think I was gonna
Ah,
get the 8 voice just to, I don't know, but the just the modulation capability, the extra oscillator, just all that's the effects. That's what kept me on the Peak. The Peak's been up for sale twice, and both times I took it down before anybody could snag it. But with inflation now, it's definitely tempting.
yeah. Um, there's some sense I've been thinking to put for sale that I've just not touched for a while, but there's always some more attachment to it, and I'm like, well, I did such cool tracks on that. Why? I don't really need the money, but there's always a need for money to get something else. There's gas every month for everyone.
My problem now, I think I'm lucky for this, and it's just like real estate. I don't have much space. I don't want to expand too much further,
Uh,
but like I'm trying to get a bit of a rack going, maybe with just like some
mm,
effects. It's mostly like the patch bay fell, and now two of the inserts on the back are like they vary in volume because the contacts are weird on them now. So I have to figure that
gotcha.
out. But yeah, it's just like that kind of stuff. I should get more organized in here and whatnot. But I think I have the like just the basis for every single sound that I need. You know, I can go modular somewhat with the Proton. I got percussive with the Edge. I've got the sampling capabilities of the Dig Attack, the bass with the Moog, poly with the Peak. So it's just like, okay,
Yeah,
I don't like if I'm thinking about getting something else, something's probably leaving.
I understand. Yeah, yeah. I recently went to Rack Mount. Pretty much I have so much desktop sense as it is, and I'm like, well, I have a very large, like 40-inch box to travel with, and then two smaller, like 22-inch carry-on sized boxes to just pack stuff. And styrofoam fitted, right angled cables and MIDI, everything's ready for travel. Nothing in my studio can't leave within 15 minutes or be unpacked within 10. A lot of mounts, like you're familiar with the Vesa mounts, everything's
Yeah.
made for performance. And a lot of my scents and styles, whether the desktop or my Eurorack, everything is kind of tailored for performance package, not exactly the best sense for sitting because they're heavy and stuff. So the going the 19-inch mount stuff, got it. Um, Recently got it a lot lighter with a retro
Hmm.
kits stand up. So if y'all looking for something rather Eurorack semi modular or regular synth, the retro kits thing is pretty good. It folds into carry on,
Nice.
and
I would,
so
yeah, I could not put I thought about taking the Moog out of the studio, but like, no, I have a whole entire Funktuate like live rig that doesn't even involve any synths, just like the Dig Attack and like the basses. Cause I can sample a bass, off the Moog and just use that. But yeah,
sure.
like
But yeah,
I do
it's not as hot
not.
though.
It's
Yeah,
definitely not,
it
but like on a system in a club, you're not going to be able to really. I just want the bass frequencies, but like
gotcha.
I want to get
Yeah.
to that tax bracket where I could just take the Moog out and be like, oh, I can buy another one. DJ
Hmm.
Sunset, I apologize, buddy. Chat, I apologize. Candyman, I'm sorry. Twin Cities Oxygen, what's up, homie? Golden Paw, what's going on? DJ Sunset, I don't know if I can add you to the call, man. This is just for Christian Doming right now. The Moog Minotaur is a good option for Moog travel. Yeah, no, I had a Moog Siren, and that thing was actually awesome. It was my first Moog ever, and
Ah,
I ended up selling it because I doubled its value, and just because I bought it new, and then by the time it was like everybody bought, because there's only what 3,000 of them ever made, so when they were all purchased, they went up in value.
mhm.
So I doubled my money. Some guy from Australia bought it, and then yeah, I was Moogless, and then I got a good deal on
Uh,
the Sub 37 later on.
I'll tell you where most of my kit came from. The original Moog Minilog, 12 grand. Well, 12,800 I got for it. This was before the tribute
Oh
was made.
damn.
So that was a very on demand one. But yeah, I also had the Siren. I unfortunately sold that one too. I still have the Moog Minotaur in white, where there's only 500 made of those.
The Minotaur
And
make there's only 500 Minotaurs. Oh,
no,
in
in
white.
white.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, I got one of those guys. And but yeah, I use that on a regular to get some cool tones, Moogie tones.
It's great
Um,
for the bass. Like it didn't really make sense in the Siren to have all that high end octave ability without like, the extra modulation parameters, just more control for that higher frequency stuff. But the bass stuff, the Minotaur made more
yep,
sense as just like a unit to keep
absolutely.
around. The Minotaur, yeah, it was nice to have, but it was an easy sell just because at the time I think I had the Peak, I had the Neutron from
Mm,
Behringer.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's a
like
good
I
one.
had my bases covered for literally the bass, and then I think I even still had my what was it? The Arturia Microbrute. So yeah, White Minotaur.
Gotcha.
That's
Yeah.
dope. Yeah, I didn't see any of those either, Golden Paw. That's interesting.
Yeah. Um, so with the white Minotaur, it's similar to the Moog Sub 37, where it runs really hot and it really wants to dominate the mix. So there's a lot of good line level control you got to do with that when playing Dallas. It's
Oh
nice and
yeah.
hot, really nice and big. When you play that along with someone who's playing off a sampler, um, you really notice how analog really hits when it's a Moog.
Yeah.
Um,
And they're like
yeah.
strangely engineered to do exactly what you said. And I notice that a lot when I'm introducing the Moog into like a mix live. Because I'll bounce between different devices for the bass. Sometimes it'll just be a sine generator off the Digitact. And then I'll go to the Moog and the presence is just so different. It's
Right.
cutting right through. It's way more prominent. The harmonics are there. It's not just taking up like a specific band. I have to like now compensate for all of this other harmonic goodness. Not bashing it at all, you know?
Right.
And
No, yeah,
you just
yeah.
like everything changes when that thing comes in. You're like, holy. But yeah, I know what you mean with the line level stuff because more recently I've been noticing you get a different sort of grit when you balance the sub oscillator with oscillator one when you're bringing them both in. So I used to just
Hmm.
go to 10 on both and just, jam.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I've been doing a lot more in my headphones because my neighbor actually complained to me not too long ago. Um,
Right. Oh
when I got
man.
the lights set up, the lights are sound active and they respond the best to the low frequencies. So I had the sub going a little hotter than usual. And yeah, he made a comment and I'm like, I'm sorry. So I've been doing a lot more in my headphones and the amount that I get to hear versus just through the speakers off a couple beers is a lot. I'm a lot more attentive and I'm playing around with the levels a lot more and listening for
Gotcha.
that kind of stuff. So yeah, but the
Gotcha. I see we
Moog
got a
is
couple
thick.
questions. Yeah.
Uh,
I'll give you guys a recommendation of
yeah, yeah.
Moog or whatnot. Like if I could do it all again, I would go for Studio Electronics. Simply because it sounds like a Moog, close to enough you won't know it's not a Moog. It gives you different cards, filter cards you can choose. So if you want MS-20, you want
Oh, really?
CX-80, you want Moog ladder filter, you want XYZ, they have a lot of cool cards, and the only thing they don't have is a huge following for presets.
Mm.
But the Moog Minotaur, you have no screen of presets to change to. Uh, you have like a VST in a DAW to arrange your patches, and then you have your sequencers to recall your patches that are stored within the banks and inside the firmware of the Minotaur. But there is no on-screen way to select your patches, so you have to have a controller to do that, or the DAW.
Oh, really?
So it's not 100% dollars per se, but like the Siren, it has all the features you really want in craft,
Yeah.
right there in your face. You
Uh,
got your saw or your square wave, but you know that's about it.
for
And
sure.
so you can craft just about everything you want from that in your face. But yeah, that whole not having a screen thing like most other synths is a big letdown for a lot of people. So I do want to bring that up, even though it's a cool $500 synth. If you're one of those who are still not into patching your own synthesis or controlling MIDI banks, your banks or program banks from MIDI from another device, just keep that in mind.
For sure. And like patching and modulation wise, like the Arturia Mini Freak that DJ Sunset keeps bringing up, it's definitely not like at an entry level price, but you're getting a bulk of many different sorts of synthesis feature wise and all that kind of stuff. You got that modulation matrix, you got a full keyboard, not a full keyboard, but like you got something to work with, 37 keys, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
And
it's a
different
small
synth
keyboard.
engines. It's like it's a good lick on like good digital synthesis. But again, this is, I don't know, it's its own sort of synth. It's probably good for getting started because you have a pretty good amount of sounds at your fingertips.
Absolutely. It's huge when it comes to its sound. And I feel a little bit too late into the world. The Dallas people were already peaking and running out of money. Um, and Arturia came out with it, probably rushed it out, but it really hits really hard for a really small sense. But it doesn't really fit too much in a lot of Dallas travel for a lot of people. To me, it's a
Yeah.
fine size. It's really easy to just backpack as well. A little
Yeah.
longer than some things, but it's not that bad. It's not 49 key.
It's
Right.
definitely a unique thing. It fits the Arturia sort of atmosphere and ecosystem there. Arturia's got some pretty cool stuff. Their Matrix Brute. Damn. I played on
Yeah,
a
the
few of
the
those.
Polybrute is probably the biggest synth right now. That is probably in every big studio right now as probably one of their later synths. The
Yep.
Polybrute's just huge and amazing. It's a big white one if y'all are not familiar with it.
When I was
And
working at
it's
the music shop, we had a Bungie is the game developer. They did Mass Effect and other
okay.
games like that. And yeah, they bought a Matrix Brute from our
Matrix Brute.
store.
Yeah.
And they came in, they're just like, we
Ah,
want that for our sound design. We're like, okay,
yeah.
here you go.
I always wanted that. It was like 3,700 when it first came out, and I was just not with the funds at that time. And I was like, man, it can do everything. Right. But still to this day, it's an amazing synth. A lot of crazy patches. They updated it so well. And it's Arturia in general. Just as good as they are in the synth space, they got into a lot of different areas, whether um, in recording, studio recording,
Yeah.
microphones. They got everywhere. They
Their
went everywhere.
emulation is
But
crazy to their synth engines.
emulation,
Yeah.
the Arturia V collection, amazing,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely amazing.
See,
You
that's
know,
why hardware is such a tough sell nowadays. It's funny because like Arturia, they make hardware instruments, but they're still like, we're gonna make some pretty kick-ass VSC software that's gonna compete with that.
yeah,
But they're doing
and
more
that's the
vintage
that's the
stuff.
future. It's the future right now with a lot of companies as virtual analog, virtual synthesizers, virtual drums, right?
Hmm.
Um, a lot of people love the sound, and the the more power virtual analog is able to be compressed into like literally RAM size now. You got, very basically your the synth engines on a push 3, the synth engines on just about all the poly instruments that are the bitbox instruments that everyone's seeing right now, the virtual analog and the Akai and PC. Like there's like DSPs that are the VSTs, right? And the DSPs getting together, getting these algorithms, getting them so close to sounding to analog, right? That you're like, all right, let me character and throw some modulation inside this, all the way at the end of the chain to add warmth inside a saturator or a preamp to get that analog feel. So it's really crazy how that is. And the one that just dropped that specifically that is from Yamaha, the M Wave. It's like their new one of their flagships after the montage. It just dropped like yesterday.
Oh, I think I saw a Dr. Mix thing, or Bo Beats dropped something on that. I remember who it was.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, but that's the thing, right? It's like these guys in these industries, you guys, a lot of people think it's like, oh, there's all this virtual analog. Elektron's got all these separate boxes. Why don't they make one big box? Well, you don't want to. You kind of defeat the purpose as a company if you're making money with all these different boxes. If you just have one big flagship, and so there's an art where you have a lot of different boxes that cater to a specific sound. Like the TB-03. It's in pop, it's in techno, it's in so many different genres because of that unique sound. You don't want it in any box, but guess what? You can actually make it. It's just simple square wave. But and such. But it's cool to see even the latest sets and different companies with technology using virtual analog and allowing people to have more than one one synth sound at a time, like 4 banks, like a digitone, right?
Yeah,
I love that. But the problem with the Elektron instruments I had were shared circuits. I always lost line quality when I shared circuits, and so the digitone, if I was literally jamming on four things really hard, it would kind of mud the mix within its own circuit, not actually in my sound quality. And I'm like, dang, right? Like, come on. So but that's FM synthesis in general. You can mud a mix just in there. So
you could use it to your advantage, though. I can imagine. There's
is there
quality out of it?
There is actually when you get into like really saturated sounds, really slow drony FM synth vibes with like ambient beats all in one box would actually have a cool low grit sound to it, especially if you had the Allen and Heat at the end. You could kind of explore and off one box and like have a field day. Right.
I'm slowly becoming that guy that's chasing more noise artifacts out of the Digitact. Like whenever I do like the techno, I'm like mangling something, enough to hopefully just squeeze out like a new sort of like noise just for like background stuff. So, but yeah, like even like non-FM, just like the signals going into the heat, I have to make sure that's not running too hot because I can really tell when my hi-hats get distorted that everything is just getting a little too overwhelmed. So, yeah.
Right, yeah.
It becomes an issue.
Yeah, it does. But sometimes it's some of those limitations you do hit on one box can kind of tell you're getting out of the 80-20 rules and principles of when you're delivering house or techno. Where maybe you're thinking too much into effects and the buildups actually you have too much elements going on because sonically people only focus on 4 different sounds at once. When you're actually over that, it's overload and it's overkill. And so when you look into those principles of what made house and techno great and those artists great, you're really pushing it. You're getting experimental, and that's the fun part. But that's why you're hitting some of these, these weird things. So,
and that's what I like about house. You don't really have to follow like the rules of mixing, like coming from dubstep where everything has to be meticulously phased and, you know, EQ'd, compressed. The distortion game in dubstep right now is insane. Having it like as sorted as possible when still keeping it clean. Whereas like in house, it's like, okay, as long as it grooves, everything meshes, you can hear the percussion, you know, the bass drum is still the most prominent thing. You can get away with a lot more and call it, you know, just like abstract mixing.
Yeah.
Which I like.
I'd like to hear from the chat here. Is there any hi-hats, since we're on the subject of hi-hats, what are your favorite drum machine hi-hats? 606, 707, 909, 808.
I hover around. Boss. Yeah, because like there's so many different drum machines. People always gravitate to Roland. But I remember when I was working at Long and McQuaid, the music shop, our version of Guitar Center, there was a lot of people buying the Boss units, the Yamaha units. We had a guy come in and he had an old school Yamaha drum machine and he needed it repaired. But in order for it to be repaired, the memory needed to be wiped. And he was devastated. He had like so many patterns on that thing saved. It was ridiculous. But yeah, I usually hover around the 909, the 707, and the, what was it? CH? I think it was. But yeah, the Drum Brute had some pretty interesting hi-hats. I really do miss that analog hi-hat creation. That was really fun when I had it. The OP Field has the best hi-hats. Well, you can sample any hi-hat.
Yeah. So hi-hats is a very different topic, right? You can definitely make a hi-hat from an oscillator and crunch it down, add noise, do what you want. But I'm talking more about the drum machine guys. Yeah, I see you guys like the OP1. All right. So one of my favorites are actually the 606 with Techno.
Really? Let's actually load one up. Let's get a 606 loaded up here. That's what I love about this drum machine. Load up a 606.
But yeah, drum machines really fall along well with a lot of different production styles. You're gonna like a Lindrum for disco and funk, right? And then you're gonna like RD9s or RD8, sorry, for the Roland RD8 for like what, like EBM, right? Old disco, dead disco sounds, and then 909 for techno house, sure.
This is actually a sick drum machine for techno. I had this beat going over your voice, and it sounded like it was going to go into the Giorgio Moroder type beat. My name is Christian Doming. Yeah, it reminds me of Dave the Drummer, even though he uses the 909. Let's see here. What else could we put in this? This is probably so weird for you, Christian, because you're going to hear it a little off, maybe on YouTube if you're still watching. Now, what bass do we put in there? Do we put in a 303 style, or...
I never touched 303, really, unless I kind of feel like that's what the crowd wants. It's like a underground techno thing out here.
This is just sub
stay away from it. Oh wait, no. So yeah, I use 909, but then I use the 606 hats to keep.
Oh, the 606 hats. Okay, let's put a 909 bass on that. Let's see what that sounds like. Because I'm always trying to find the best little bits of each sort of drum machine, you know, piece them all together.
So
see, 909 bass 1.
I'd probably look for a good an off bass, not like a rumble, to keep a movement progression, kind of push the track or give an offbeat here and there. I'm really into not just giving the crowd a one step to the right, a one step to the left while on the dance floor. I try to get everyone's hand in the air and moving. The guy who played before me may have had you stepping left and right, but I'm not going to. We're going a step further. And so using toms as a bass instrument out of nowhere comes from me.
Here I'm using the Moog.
Yeah, no, the Moog's filthy. I love it.
Huh. What are your favorite toms to use? What happened? Uh-oh. Hello?
I heard the toms.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah, I heard the toms.
Sorry.
I was just listening to. I just unmuted to come listen and look at the chat for a minute. But it really depends on what the vibe is, right?
I'm not getting too much bass out of these. Let's see.
Yeah, so if I'm doing like a techno indie. Oh, it's the delay. Yeah, if I'm doing toms, it's gonna be what the engine is, an analog like tom. Then I'm gonna use it. Right, like if I'm on the rhythm, I can simulate like a tom sound with the analog oscillators.
Oh, I gotcha. I've tried doing that with the Edge.
If you're gonna go deep with the pitch with the toms, as almost like a double bass, but you have your options with the sustain, how much you want to support the tom and the kick with a boom.
Mm-hmm. And are you thinking about key or just rhythm and just overall just vibe? Because yeah, with right, that, so because you can't really tune a tom. You can probably get close, but you're not going to tune it to like a D scale.
Right. So it would be polyrhythm. You'd be focused on setting a groove.
Yeah, like the polyrhythm, and let me hit the last. Let me go to let's just try that and see what happens there. Let's get the rim shot. Let's go there. Okay, let's distort it some more. Never mind. That sounds like ass.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Definitely not deep enough, but yeah. If you go with like how you would want some polyrhythm with like a sub bass sound, like a kick, that works too. It's really focusing on the groove and building your track from the groove.
I'm just rushing.
Yeah, if you're in your live gig, for example, and you're groove oriented, you're gonna be able to play forever, even if you ran out of your track list. So let's say you came engaged for an hour. You're gonna play an hour, but the guy didn't show up behind you.
Yeah.
If you know how to set up grooves and improv, that's all you need.
Yeah.
The crowd's going. You know how to set up a groove. So that's a big focus that we try to teach with the classes I work with, which is something we can bring up later. And
we can talk about what
dolls.
you teach. Are you with like just a electronic music school?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
We do we're like the only DAWless masterclass out there for desktop electronics, where the community teaches you how to set things up, get things connected, share. But this is more of like a masterclass of how to deliver for the dance floor. And
gotcha.
So you kind of hit the ground running, and you kind of graduate with gigs and a venue to play with and kind of get the ball rolling. People who've kind of already purchased instruments and kind of got their first kind of wheels on the ground, connected everything, but they're looking to really fill the floor up. That's they're dreaming big and they want to get going. These are people who actually want to push themselves to go out, get a gig, and do a show.
Well, sign me
as
up.
the DJ would, right? So that's the academy, and so there's all skill levels there. You would imagine, people with 2 instruments, right? Yeah. Or one sampler and a TB03. They're like,
you can do a lot with that.
Sampler can do so much. Yeah,
I could probably I took the Digitac 2 to Vancouver with me on vacation one time. I made full tracks on that thing. You don't need a lot. You just need to know how to use it.
Exactly. Yep. And so we go around fundamentals with it, and have a lot of people who are successful playing live.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We had Cywave, and then Honey Smack, DJ Pierre, and a lot of big time producers in there that record live artists and tell you do's and don'ts. So it's just something that if you don't want to cut corners, but you do want to learn from some of the best and learn what some pitfalls are, do's, don'ts, and stuff. It's a really cool course that we do at Learn to Play Live, but not trying to sell anyone on it. It's pretty much for those who are ready to be engaged in their in their voyage. Yeah. It's not for everybody at the right time.
Not trying to hack the system and get free information, but are there do's and don'ts, like 3 do's and don'ts that you can share that might help people, including myself?
Yeah, sure. Let me just, I guess, think of some. One big one, I guess, since we're on the topic of international guys, don't travel with your MIDI cable plugged in, your power cable plugged in with your gear. It's a big no-no. You can show up to a gig and your Digitac won't power on because something happened, shook too much and jammed in the power cable, and that's all it took for that little piece in there to break, and that's your brain. So now you're gigless because your brain faulted.
And that's for mostly musicians who have those pre-built rigs where they have everything mashed in there, ready to go, pre-wired, and then it shifts. Some guy. That's why like gigging with all this stuff freaks me out, because some guy in Berlin is going to throw it in the wrong plane when I'm performing, if that ever happens, and then bada bing, bada boom, it lands in Belgium when I'm going to France. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I could give you one example that happened a couple months ago with that. My friend booked someone out of Ireland to go play at his gig, and he got denied entrance into Amsterdam because he had too much work stuff with him, and he wasn't coming on he wasn't like they're expecting him as like business class, working class, but wasn't not a lot of work in Amsterdam. And so they turned him around, literally just said no.
Because he had too much music gear with him?
See, that's what we would have thought, but it was how he kind of presented it. And he didn't have an agent, he didn't have anything, which is fine. But they turned him around and didn't allow him access into Amsterdam because of not just only his gear. It was because he brought too much work stuff, work laptop, and we would think it was like a digital camera and all this other stuff, but it was the way he presented himself with security at the airport who stopped him, who turned him around. So it was a matter of etiquette, of how to handle yourself.
He just had the right buzzwords that triggered them to be like, okay, well, this is kind of fishy.
Yeah, you're not. It looks like you're not approved to be here for business, and and you say you're here for leisure, but look at all the stuff you're bringing. You're going to get money, and based on all the stuff you have, and you're giving he gave them a problem, is what we found out. He was a hot-headed Irish guy.
Okay, that's fair. He probably had a few pints at the airport lounge too.
So yeah, that's not a do or don't, but that kind of just shows you a little bit of an example I guess some other things that we could talk since we're on the object of travel. A lot of people don't know that you can get a media pass as a content creator or YouTube person like yourself with a lot of subscribers and followers for like, I think it's like $40, $60 maybe now, where you get a pass where you can travel with extra gear for free and sometimes over the size. It kind of came into fruition around COVID when the airline laws changed for pro industry, art industry, and people who travel with instruments and such. But there's a media pass you can get that gives you special privileges. So look into that, folks. Yeah.
So I can just go to any local event and say I'm a local creator who, is that what you're saying?
Oh no, this is for travel, air travel. So like
Oh,
cheaper prices, bringing more stuff for
I
like instead of
gotcha.
like
It's
paying
an
for an extra
incentive.
carry-on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for an extra carry-on and stuff like that
Because,
because of
yeah,
the
I'm
pass.
definitely carrying all my gear on. Like, the amount of gear I plan on traveling with is the amount where I can claim. Like, I've traveled with gear before and they've asked what it is. And I'm like, yeah, I just sit in the hotel and I play on it. Like, the amount of gear that I'm bringing is totally like a hobbyist level amount where it's just like I could get away with just being like, yeah, I'm just going to meet some friends and we have this hobby.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I play stupid the whole time. Oh, get paid for this? Oh, no way.
No,
You
no,
know,
are you
I
kidding
traveled
me?
with the CDJs and mixers, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know what this is. This is amazing. Are you gonna do a show here?" It's like, "No, we're gonna hang at my friend's house."
That's why I
Like, what?
detach my name from Funktuate. That's like if they look up my name and they get the association, then they can see a flyer or something. Unless like the Wikipedia pops off, then I'm mainstream, and then
Gotcha.
I can't qualify for the underground anymore, like you're talking about.
No, no, yeah. But yeah, I traveled with a little bit of Eurorack, and I thought I was gonna get a bigger surprise, but I noticed that um, when they see all those patch cables and stuff, the senior people who've been doing it for like 10, 15 years, they've seen it much times over before. It's not a
Probably,
surprise to
yeah,
them.
especially the
But the
Europe.
new people,
Yeah,
yeah, the new people, they don't have a clue. They're like, oh, you're just gonna have to wait for my supervisor to see this. Like, it looks like a bomb to me, but I just need to know you don't have any lithium ion batteries type stuff in there. And that's all they really care about. So it's gonna blow up and cause a fire
yeah. When you
downstairs.
start listing
You
off all
know,
the
yeah,
components in a Eurorack, it does sound like a bomb. You know, I got my oscillator with my LFO, with my attenuators. They're like, oh my god, this guy's crazy.
no, they're usually cool. Actually, they're always asking for your information. I like to listen to it during lunch or whatnot. And so you know, they're cool with shooting the shit.
Could you imagine like this
But
patch is the bomb? They're like, hey, get on the ground. You're like, no, I didn't mean it like that.
oh man, yeah. But I guess another couple of do's or don'ts in there. But pretty much great do's, I would say, that separate you as a Dallas person and don't that we like to talk about is, are you recording into a tape machine DAW and stuff, or are you just getting started? It's easy to get overwhelmed and spending too much money on the wrong things. And which there's a great do when you speak to someone, like you're cutting a corner, you're paying a mastering engineer to teach you how to master and look for your mistakes and teach you where you were off on your own mastering. And you pay that a mastering engineer, if you're not friends with one, to kind of correctively align you, right? There's different dues when purchasing your gear, and being tempted by gas or a sale is one of the biggest don'ts we try to put out there. And the latest stuff sometimes isn't the best for you. And so
Yeah, I've
we
definitely
always
waited
say,
a long
"Yo, you
time.
waited."
Yeah, like I
Okay,
got the Dig Attack, I think 4 years after it was released, the first one. And the Roland TR8S, I think I've only had it for like 3 years. And it came out like what, 10 years ago?
right. So
I can't
we
remember,
make it to
but
a big point to
qualify.
um, ask a peer in person. Don't just go to Reddit. These
Hey,
guys in the
that's where I
music
go.
industry are really cool to talk to as well. A lot of the guys on Reddit have experience and such, but you always got biased opinions there too.
Oh
But a
yeah,
lot
no,
of
it's
experienced guys as
hilarious.
well. But a lot of these guys you can just reach out to who already have the instrument, and you can ask them, "Hey, can I use it this way?
Yeah,
I'm looking to
and
make this genre.
yeah,
Can
you
I
can also
record
read the
into this?"
manuals before you buy them too to see if there's a specific feature or function. Download the manual, go to the find part of like the PDF, you know, and just type in
Right.
what you're looking for and then see if it's there. That's what I do for like every single synth I've ever owned. I'm like, oh, it doesn't have this. Oh, it does have that, you know, and it just, helps.
Yep, exactly. And we got a couple guys on the team that do AI databasing, and they're huge nerds that like patch stuff through AI in so many crazy ways. But they were
Damn.
talking about telling AI to read a book, and then you ask the AI about its completeness and how to do. Can I do this if I buy this box? Can I connect it this way? What are the limitations about using it this way? And so they had cool insight in how to leverage AI in reading a manual and then asking, can that instrument do what you require out of it? But so yeah, what I'm saying is if you're going to invest like, a lot of money into a $2,000 compressor in your mastering chain, and you're questioning the fact that if a $700 compressor, right, is going to fit your bill because it has a $700 compressor, but then it has a bunch of all other effects and DSPs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cut to the chase, get the right person. Even if you have to pay $30 an hour for that guy, because you're gonna most likely get the best thing for your buck that best fits around you. If that topic discussion really means that investment out of your wallet, right, is that impactful, that sometimes buying something secondhand on Reverb because of the deal is gas. And then you learn to find out, oh shit, there was a new product coming out in 20 days. And I would have preferred the new product. Now it's going to be tough to sell my purchase on Reverb, and because of the new product coming out. That's a pitfall you don't want. So
Yeah,
when
I've
you
definitely had some regrets for sure.
yeah, so when you're attached to a community like Funktuate here, and you have the ability to chat to someone, it's cool that you can just throw in a chat, hey, I'm thinking about getting this, but add something. Hey, you guys think it can do this? Like I wanted to. Like
Exactly. That's what I
leverage a
always
cool
ask them. Like,
chat.
well, it depends on what you want it to do. They're always like, what's your opinion on this? I'm like, well, it works really well in this instance. Like, there's a lot of times where I'll just be using the Dig Attack 2 and the Roland. Like, that's all you really need. Everything else is just like an extension of my creativity where I'm just like, okay, like I'm kind of stuck in this right now. I have all these other branches to kind of check out and
Yep.
explore. So you don't really need too much. You like as long as you're creative enough with one thing, you can actually achieve quite a bit. You just have to know again how to use it. And yeah, but a good sale is a good sale. Like the second I saw the price that I was going to get the sub 37 for, I was just like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. You don't
Yeah.
yeah, there's a difference between gas and being stupid.
Exactly. No, exactly. Well, that's the thing. There's so many novices out there that want to get started with Dallas with $1,000 budget, right? A tax return or something. And I get it. And so some of these tips go such a long way for so many people. And then,
Yeah.
we have do's and don'ts with sub frequencies, what to mix, what to do on this, where to keep your bass, why your bass sounds so bad, what an atmosphere going up with a bass versus going down with the bass within your track. What's the atmosphere you want to create? What's the do's and don'ts with inspirational chords and using other types of chords? There's a lot of different things and elements that we like to talk about around building a track. And so when
Mm-hmm.
you at your skill level, you're definitely you can feel the music, but a lot of starters can't feel the music and don't know where to take a track. They're kind of just punching in sequences and hoping for the best.
I mean,
And
that's what the whole improvised
this
dude. I get
yeah
so lucky. Let me tell you.
But there's a thing though around that, right? There's things with like hypnotic techno or brain dead techno is what we call it. You could get away with brain dead techno, and there's a lot
It's
of
ear
people and
rot
genres
for
that,
sure.
yeah, you mean it could sound great even though
I
it's
mean,
brain dead
it's
techno, right?
like
But
it's all about the nuance. Like I was talking about before, like you
sure,
find that rhythmic nuance that's just noise. You have that driving bass underneath. You got maybe the vocal chop, but it's all there to create a mood. And like as long as the like you're talking about before, like creating the atmosphere. Like I try to create I get inspired by a lot in the back of my head, you know. So I'm trying to like create a little foundation for that idea or whatnot that I get. I'll be scrolling on Instagram and see a cool reel, and then I'm
right.
just like, okay, I'm gonna try to like get inspired from that and recreate that energy or whatever. So yeah, no, it's been interesting. Again, I use a lot of pitch down like Foley effects sounds, and then I get my nuance out of that, and then put a sine bass or just like some slop from the edge, and then yeah, boom.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, man, and I don't want to sit on like let's talk to people here like I'm on a high horse or and stuff. I'm still learning too. There's different things, and I failed today alone. I was on Internet Archives. I know you guys probably may go there here and there for stuff. I went to Internet Archives and looked for 1920s, 1930s radio hosts, and I grabbed like a broadcast out of New York. I wanted one of those really, yeah, with all the vinyl and crackling in the
see,
background.
yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to clone that voice, but I wanted it to say something I wanted it to say. So I heard with AI, you can clone the voice.
Yeah,
You can also clone the background. And so
cool,
I tried to do it on Suno. Did not work. It came out with music in
nice.
1920s and different and with the lyrics I came with. And then I'm like, all right, how can I do this for free? You know, I don't want to pay for something that might not work with cloning a voice, and I don't have the best AI skill, but I eventually got to something I could use because I wanted to do something I work with that is not too much vocals, and like from samples and such. I like to create my own vocals or get friends to work with and stuff. And so I wanted to patch that transmission, that radio host transmission through the Eurorack and create different artifacts and sounds and atmospheres like you like to do to give the track um, another feel. I got specific modules in my Eurorack that distort the radio and crackle and glitch it, freeze it, reverse it, do a lot of weird stuff. And I got over like 100,000 hits on my hurricane recordings. When Florida had a hurricane, I recorded it I recorded some stems regular and then some through that effect process in my Eurorack. Dude, over 100,000. Imagine if I charged $1, that would be great. But you know, it's free stuff, and that's just one typical general idea of trying to create your own samples. And how could you do it? And people loved hearing that there was a tornado touchdown here. People saying, "Hey, we're escaping the storm. Tell us where to go." Like hysteria over the radio. People talking about hunkering down and stuff, and people all over the world loved it. That it was
that's huge
reversing,
for
getting glitchy. So you know, it gives you an example that that's one modern take of doing it analog from over the air of the radio, and then the other take was today where I failed with AI, having the same idea, but trying to leverage another work tool that I'm not familiar with and still exploring. Where there might be some here in chat there calling me total noob, but again, just not a space I'm super familiar with making my own sample with. But I'm open to many ears and my Discord communities that I presented my failures today. And I'm hoping someone can correct me with a better step process.
Well, it sounds like you're
like
pretty
that,
on
right?
top of the game, man. If I could talk about my failures, I'd be here for forever. Like I have at least a lot every single funk day, and there's a lot of happy accidents where I'm just like, okay, you know what, that worked out. But yeah, no, I'm looking to improve as always. We all are. So
yeah. Looks like chat had a great time here entering a bunch of instruments, monitors, microphones.
DJ Sunset wants to come on the call so bad, but this is a one guest thing, man. We're letting Christian Doming do his thing. Drop his
No
knowledge.
specific program here.
Yeah,
But,
no, honestly, this is
yeah.
just letting the people on, let them chat. You know what I mean? I got to give
Right,
back to
yeah.
the community. Have you guys spend some time for spending time with me? Spend more time.
Yeah. I got a lot of modules they've been talking about in chat. I like my reverb has over 100 instrument sales, buy, sell, pedals,
Nice.
you name it. And so
Send
probably about
send me a
100.
link in the Discord for where you can get the samples and that course if people are ever interested, and I'll
Sure.
share it around.
Sure, buddy. And yeah, so over time, like purchasing and selling so many different instruments and having the opportunity to get into Eurorack, but there's a lot of places I haven't gone. I haven't had Surge modules or Buchla modules and stuff in those ecosystems. And if the day presents itself and I get interested into that, I'll do it. I've only had one run in with a matrix mixer and a matrix synthesizer like the Centrix.
Oh yeah,
And so,
that thing's sick.
it's like, sounds amazing, right? Those triangle waves, great, love it. But I do have a lot of cool stuff, or might have had a bunch of stuff. So if you guys have questions on different things and chains, I'm pretty sure between me and Funktuate, we can answer some cool questions and instruments. But yeah, my favorite synthesizer in this room is still one of the oldest synthesizers, I would say.
Which one was
Simply
it?
because of the Axis Virus TI. And
Oh,
if you ask
yeah.
why, well, TI2, but if you ask why, it's simply because of people like you and me. That has had such a big community who delivered so many great patches. And when you have 16 in multi-timbral, I have 16 instruments, and I can also cross patch different instruments, and I have 3 stereo outs. So one box is technically 3 instruments. Yeah, and the workflow in there is super easy, like the Moog, Sub 37. The Matrix is a little tougher, but it's digital. But you have an effects unit inside it, and you're talking about like 20-year-old synth. And if I put it next to so many other synths, you'll be like, oh, what is that sound? Like, that sounds amazing. And I'm like, oh, that'll be the virus. It's like, you use it in almost every patch. So I'm like, yeah, I can use 3 instruments out of one box, and it's small.
It's kind of the unsung hero of the synth community. Like, the first exposure I got to it was when I was following Deadmau5 when I was younger. He had one chilling all the time, and a few other DJs. I don't know if you guys know the Equipboard website where you can go and see what your favorite artists are using equipment-wise. The virus showed up so much, and it piqued my interest, but it was always like, I don't know, it never got updated, so it just kind of got left in that time. Yep. So I focus on other synths, but it's definitely something to check out. Based on that.
The only reason it replaced my peak is because I can just do a little more with it because of the size is half the size of the peak, and then it has 3 outs, so I have 2 more synths. That's the only reason. I didn't want to get rid of the peak at all, but I wanted to really feel the Summit for what it was, and I had a friend getting rid of his Summit, so with the deal in mind, I'm like, all right, let me get the Summit because I want to get the OB6 anyway. So I'm going to play with the Summit, and pretty much got that sold. Then got the OB6, and I don't mind any one of those synths. They're amazing what Novation did with those guys, and I hope they come out with something else. Right? There's people with the Ultra Nova that say they don't need to get anything else, and and people to this day, in different genres, like that girl Flava D. drum and bass.
Flavor D, I'm
Bass
seeing
music
her
as well.
this Friday
Yeah,
in
so
two
she's a
days.
Novation girl, right? And she rounds around with the mini Nova. You know,
Really?
that's her go-to. She packs that thing
Flavor D,
wherever
no way
she
you
needs
just
to
name
produce.
drop Flavor D. That's hilarious. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I'm getting
yeah,
pumped for this Friday. She's coming to a little club here in Edmonton.
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Do you
If
guys get a lot of bass music out there or
we
no?
actually do, like we're pretty blessed in terms of what we can get. Like just 2.5 hours from me, we got Subtronics, we got Dom Dalla, we got no wait, Chris Lorenzo, Clooney, Zed's Dead. Recently in Edmonton, we've had Yusei B Flow. I don't know if you know him, but he's crazy.
No.
Sullivan King. Who else? Amorphic. Well, we get a lot of bass stuff, but we have our big massive raves. Like we're getting a Mao P,
Okay. I know.
some other big ones for our Halloween rave that we're having. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So,
so,
you know, like I said, Novation, man, like helps support so many artists, man. The Novation base station too. You find on stages with funk and disco.
oh yeah,
That thing can deliver really fat tones, and it competed really well and held up. I felt its battle versus the Minotaur at the time, right?
yeah.
And
For the
so,
price, for
it's
sure, man.
for the
The
price.
price for
Yeah.
those boxes. I mean, it's Moog. You know what you're getting, but like to compete, whew, that's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a festival this weekend. I'm not playing this year. I'm on backup, so I have to go. But there's a festival. You ever heard of 3 Points?
No, where's that?
3 Points Miami is
Okay.
it's pretty much an artist collective where they bring people all over the world. A lot of indie and underground. There's like no one super mainstream unless it's like a cool band. Like Kujabin and The Strokes have come and stuff like that, like super big bands and stuff. But they're looking for electronic artists as much as like some hip hop, like Erica Badu,
Okay.
people to perform, A Twigs and things like that. You know, but yeah, James Hype and people like that show up. But like that collective brings a lot of what is a lot of Miami's underground people, right? And when you have a podcast like me and you are speaking now, and those underground people come into play, they want a place to DJ. Literally, these people are
Mm-hmm.
addicts
Oh yeah, they
when it
just
comes
need
to
a place to
DJ.
throw
Yeah. So
down. Yeah.
they want to throw down, chill, or like they don't want to really sit in the hotel. Sometimes people do want to relax and go to a spa, but hang by the pool or beach and kind of stay introverted. Other times people are like, no, I've been in Miami. It's been for a while, but I want to throw down at this place and with these people or whatnot. They want to be on decks.
Yeah.
They're like sharks, you know.
Yeah.
They smell blood. They want to be in
That's
Miami
what
and
they
be
do.
active.
Oh yeah.
And so when you have a cool warehouse and a podcast type radio show or live stream, you're revolving yourself around artists who want to play, you know, who come for these types of festivals, and it's really dope to be involved. And there's different places that aren't even equipped to be podcasts or DJ places,
Yeah.
but they're like, I have Funktuate. He was going to bring his computer and set up OBS for us and his cameras. This guy's going to bring the speakers. This guy's going to bring the CDG decks.
Mm-hmm.
And then lo and behold, a lot of cool people that you wouldn't expect, famous tattoo artists, famous visual artists,
Yeah.
sound engineers, and DJs show up, and you're like, okay, you know, this warehouse or this house can only fit 30 people. There's too much people already. Stop texting your friends to come. You know, it's
Exactly.
like that's how
There's a
these
tattoo
type
artist
of
here already.
weeks,
God
like
sakes.
yeah, these type of weeks when it has like 3 Points an underground festival where you know you got 4 or 5 stages of underground music for over 10 hours, brings so much high quality people and the locals as well. It supports so much of the locals, and it's really about that and putting a lot of the locals out there. And it's a cool revolving door that we got. this year there's a lot of drum and bass, which is not common. But
Drum and bass is on
it
the
came back a little bit.
rise. It
Came back a
I
little
don't
bit.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that curry goat chicken rice and peas thing that's going around right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The reggae style, the amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the rise. I started listening to it like 2 years ago, like personally, but yeah, like as soon as I start getting into something a month later, like it's all over my feed. It's everybody's checking it out now, so it's good for that to be on the map. But like you said, once it hits that mainstream feed, then it's a test of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me talk about that mainstream feed just a little bit, but in a different way and what can work for you. Oh, nice. Photech and Craze. Yeah, those guys
He
are
was
cool,
telling me
man.
about
The
that show.
Craze,
Crazy is
yeah,
nuts.
Craze is a local guy here out of Fort Lauderdale, and he's well equipped around the many genres as he's a scratch DJ,
Hmm.
and he's invested a lot of time in the last year and a half getting drum and bass down. He's actually
Ooh,
not a producer, but putting time in the studio. Can't tell you with who, but he's putting time in the studio with a lot of cool guys. So
Ghost
look out for a
Production.
couple
I'm
more.
just kidding.
So look, yeah, look for a lot of cool guys. He's an idea man.
It's like
Knows what he
it's like
wants as
T
well.
Pain doing dubstep right now. You know
So
Scratch Bastard?
yeah.
Yeah, I went to his Scratch or Bastard's barbecue when it was in Calgary last year, and yeah, Logic, the rapper, just showed up out of
Hmm.
nowhere, and he was just scratching on top of
Jeez,
Logic's verse. I was just like, what the hell's going on? Yeah,
that's
those
dope.
that type of DJing, like that book, like that's a crazy thing to see. The scratch and the DNCs and all that, like it's crazy.
Yeah, they bring an extra oomph to the
It's just a
to
whole
the
nother level of talent. They had a breakdance mat going on off to the side. People were just breakdancing. It was crazy.
yeah. And so talking about viewership and stuff, and what I learned so much about online streaming and stuff came from a warehouse I owned in Wynwood. Um, I had that throughout the COVID era, and so
Mm.
yeah, I banked.
I That's
Um,
what I missed out
when
on. I should have started this during COVID.
oh yeah, man. So online streaming, if you're first or you did it right, well, um, you were going to succeed and get bigger elsewhere. And a lot of people who started with us in the streams are international touring till this day.
That was a big thing I
And it
saw. They would like build those like pretty much stage like sets and just live stream an hour.
right.
Yeah.
So Florida was interesting, guys. Yeah, I'm out of Miami, Florida.
Woohoo.
So for those just joining, and during the COVID era, Florida kind of had the no mask policies, and we didn't push too much
Only the
on
cops had
rules.
masks on.
Yeah, so there are rules, sure, but since companies are privately owned, the federal law didn't really push people out of you have to wear a mask or stuff like that. And so people flooded out of California and New York, particularly other cities too, but particularly those came to us, and they had money, bought up a lot of stuff, and wanted a party. So you had a lot of DJs who weren't getting great spots in New York or California headlining, and they came here, and guess what? They were be able to headline for those clubs that were able to open on some of those nights. But then eventually, COVID shut out those clubs. So what
Ooh.
stood? And Miami's a 24/7 party city during that time because of the warehouses and the warehouse parties. That's right.
Ooh.
The good old warehouse parties with low AC and vent fans, just everywhere. And so my door, we didn't even want to charge so high, but it got to the point that we had to charge 80 at the door during COVID.
Damn.
So yeah, underground club that everyone free. Like literally every night would be free until someone kind of books us the warehouse for their private party. And then so Saturday night comes and they want, 40 at the door and they didn't want to pay X for security or X for the door. Um, they'd usually do their own promotion, but they'd want us to do some since they're booking the space. But so the door would get high, but the reality is it would be jam packed. 80 at the door did not phase people at all during COVID. You had people from traveling all over the world looking to party, and these were usually wealthier people that could afford 80 at the door.
Yeah.
But even kids, college kids, would pay to 80 at the door because they have nothing to do. Places would be closed or shut out after 2 around the world.
Yeah.
But there's a jamming, rocking house, techno party, whatever, in that warehouse. And, it took us forever for us to get busted by the cops and stuff, and then we paid them off and then we kept throwing parties. But besides the fact that was Florida's thing. And so we had a live stream Thursday for Blondish.
Oh
You
yeah, I
guys
know
may know
Blondish.
her. And she has that stream at a Twitch TV, Abracadabra. So that was new, and she was gaining momentum there. But the guys who ran the show were 2 Argentinian guys out of Miami, at my warehouse, Thursday nights with the green screen, Electro voice speakers, Mackie speaker
I
monitors,
would
and
love to do a funk day like that. That'd be awesome.
DBX. Yeah, and um, we weren't the first to live stream and stuff, but we were the first to execute it correctly.
Hmm.
Like Desert Hearts wasn't even there wasn't even a stream, and like there were DJs trying to live stream but not doing it right on Twitch.
Yeah.
So our viewership was like 13,000 a show, and so we would land those people who that would come to these type festivals or just come to Miami to gig Saturday caught wind, or they already knew Blondish, right?
Yeah.
And wanted to be on our show. And we generally have a program of like 4 DJs, and the locals and would kick off the night
Nice.
and get the party going. And we had different viewership numbers, like 400 Eastern Standard Time at 5, 6, and then we noticed, jump into the thousands when LA or California jumped online.
Yeah.
Or people got off work and stuff. And nowadays they have a huge program of 7 days around the clock with a bunch of DJs. I'm not familiar with on her program because, like I said, people who started with Blondish, and such a great person she is, and her program succeeded so well that they don't come on the show as regulars anymore. They're touring.
Yeah.
And Diplo came on the show various times.
That's where
and
you
when
ran
I got
into
to so I was doing a Thursday night there, and then he did the show and such, and then he came back a couple times without doing a show because he really liked the space, the time.
Cool.
He liked the fact they can microdose and smoke and chill. No one's gonna bother him. There's no it's an underground space where no one's gonna take selfies.
Yeah.
People are going to actually take space, cool things that there are
It's like
around,
where the crew
around the
can hang out
warehouses.
because they travel with a bunch of people too, so they can all hang out, do their thing.
So Diplo's connections I want to highlight are just as great as his music, right? And he's got a lot of great connections in animation, lights. You got guys at stage prep and sound, a guy who had his own studio back in the day that was amazing as well. He knows how to deliver, and he knows the connections of how to make things work and how to stage things. So you're talking about a guy who had a lot of experience and a lot of connections on delivering at such a high quality. It's why he could come out with a new song and have a fully fledged 5-minute video of cool animation, dancers, and editors that make part of a production. It takes a lot to do that. And he would be one of the guys that you say, oh, I need this type of guy. And he'd be like, oh, I got one of those, or 2, actually, and be able to phone someone up or
he's
text you a number.
resourceful.
Absolutely. And he's one of those that likes to listen to a good business plan, and if you can involve him in it, like let's use bubblegum for example. If he really liked your bubblegum and wanted to help you out, he'd be like, "Yeah, I'll talk about your bubblegum, and you can feature it. You gonna pay me?" Like he's a cool
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah. He just
You know what I'm
wants the
saying? And so
yeah.
like,
He's
yeah,
supportive, but he wants his investment.
absolutely. Yeah, I actually met him once, but it wasn't like it was just like, "Hey, what's up?" type thing. Before that, with back in the Major Laser days with NASA, specifically with the NASA project, I met him, but like I was like, just hanging about as a younger kid. I was like what, like 18 at that time, going to like 8-track Fool's Gold parties and happy to see Goldie in them. And lo and behold, Oliver Van Helden, Diplo, all these other guys doing house. I'm like, oh man, these guys are doing just about every genre possible. Like you don't know where their party was going at, their pool party was going at, you know.
Yeah,
And so you just had like a influx of um, not top 40, but underground, different genres. You would get songs from Ethiopia, you get songs from in Africa,
yeah.
and all
Like
mixed with this and that, and bass music, and then funk, and it
yeah.
was really cool. It
Like
was a
I've
really
seen
cool
Diplo
scene.
multiple times, and like I've seen him perform part of Major Lazer. I've seen him perform as himself, but yeah, I've seen him at pool parties, and it was like heavily hip hop oriented. I've seen him at raves. It was obviously more trap and EDM. But yeah, no, I've met him a few times too. When I worked at the water park, I actually taught him how to surf on the surfing machine that we had there. He just showed up. He was on tour with Skrillex for the Full Flex Express, and I was just there on my day off, and I was just surfing. And then he just shows up with his kid and a few other people, and then yeah, I taught him how to surf. It was sweet. He's a pretty sweet guy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
but
so like artists like him showed up like from Afterlife, and that was a big one for me. I'll get people that would you if you told them you're gonna go see Diplo, they're gonna be like, "Oh hell no, I'm out of college." Like that was
hmm
those days. So I'm not gonna go hang with that. They're open minded, but they close minded into their journey by going to see Diplo. And then so for me, we featured Ozil from Afterlife when before Afterlife was super famous with all the. They just actually just had that club, and he was resident there where I forgot the name of it now, but they had the LED screen in the club. It was the first club with the like 40-foot tall LED screen. And he's sending me his production. He wants to do a track, etc. We're going back and forth, and he came to the studio, laid down the cool set. To me at the time was the really cool melodic house style, but more energy from him. It wasn't like exactly like our bat style or the current style it is now. More energy, but it was really cool to see how I would connect with the artist overseas who wants to come and play in Miami. Simply get him connected to go play at a club like Space and come by the studio, right?
hmm
And it allows you to have an opportunity to when you have a space and in a metropolitan area to connect with the artist and give them a reason to come and chill, get an earlier flight, come and chill. Because there are a lot of DJs that are going to come. They're like, "Oh no, I'm not. I don't even got a hotel. I'm here to do this gig, and I'm getting hopping on a plane literally after this."
yeah.
They couldn't pay me if they wanted to. And but when you have a cool space like that or some type of program that you want to include them in, especially the ones that are trying to come up and never been to Miami before, they love it. You know,
Yeah, I've never been. I've been to like Disney World and Universal, but that doesn't count. Been to Orlando. Did I ever
there's
go to?
people in Florida that have never even been there.
That's fair. That is fair. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, if like now I have means to actually go because I'm not going to go to Miami with my family. What are we going to do? Like, yeah. So,
Right.
I
Yeah.
definitely want
Yeah.
to come check all that stuff out, man. That sounds awesome what you do. And
Yeah.
is that
I
like
just recently
your
got
main
it in
gig?
workshops here. Let me finish one more topic. I just got into a couple workshops, and then with Dala stuff, and it's progressing to the point where we're going to book the people I recommend, and you to be on that list. I'm down with your style, and so I hope those times come. So no, my main gig as well is I'm like a I work for Microsoft as an IT engineer for the executives. I'm close to them for um, improving their processes.
Oh
I
damn.
worked IT for many years. I started all the way down at the lower levels of networking and support and everything. Became an architect, and after mastering different fields, and their cloud platform, mastered that and started delivering into their projects on how they can better their systems. And so now I'm working at um, how those systems have gaps within the processes, and um, especially now that they're doing so much AI. I work with where if you were to have an issue with something super high level and your company pays for a very expensive contract, and we found gaps within how that affected your business, that's going to come to my team because you perhaps know someone higher pay so much. So like if you're friends with Syed Nadella, CEO, and you complain to him, your case would go to a team that then contacts our team to see what's going on, what's wrong, how did the technology fail. They're paid, and it's paid not to fail, right? You're
Yeah.
paying for what you get. And so I'm responsible of like doing a post-mortem on what happened with you, and
Okay.
then
Reviving it
and
back to
then
life with more benefits.
pretty much I got to find the issues. And so basically everyone's had bad tech support before, and I worked in tech support before, and I know both sides of the stage, and so they leveraged my technical skills to be in this field. They don't usually hire people with technical skills in the field, but Microsoft changed, and then they pushed out some. They wanted more technical people in higher places, and that's how I got this current position, where I'm picking different issues that I feel affect you guys if you're using Microsoft technologies, and and where things can improve, and stuff. And again, some weeks I work 5 hours a week, and I could focus a lot on music and projects aside. And other weeks, there's a lot more brain power there, and you're just wiped, even though you may have worked 4 hours. Your mind is baked. So having an IT background helps with synthesis, I would think. It's a little bit
Yeah. You
systematic.
gotta be you
So
got
we
you
got
gotta be stem of a nerd in some regard.
yeah, we got any IT nerds in the chat?
Yeah, let us know if you guys work in the same or similar field.
Yeah, there's
I
a lot of
definitely
self-made
probably
DJs as
belong
well.
more in that field. I don't know, it's tough. This hobby doesn't lend itself to a lot of real world applications that I don't need a schooling degree for. So, yeah,
Gotcha.
it's niche. So I'm just turning wrenches.
Gotcha. But yeah, less about me. Let's talk more synthesis, guys. You guys, I know a lot of followers here have been following you a lot longer than I recently started following, and like I said, I liked your sound. I did a lot of the Digitact work. I love the Elektron workflow, and then eventually decided to go around it, and get into other places after doing it for a while. I had the TR8S as well, TR8 and TR8S as well,
Yeah,
and
no,
literally,
that was definitely a turning point for the setup when
yep.
I got to
So
that. Yeah.
yep. Only reasons I don't have the TR8S anymore or the Digitact is I did it for so long that I wanted to go elsewhere, and I didn't have the money until like I said, I started selling. I sold that the mini Moog for 12K, and I was like, all right, this allows me to rethink about what I want to do now, and I went
It's
right
a
into
big
yeah,
space financially for synths. So yeah.
exactly. I went right hybrid, I already had the DJ set up with the uh, so I'm like, all right, how can I incorporate DAWless with DJ without
I
doing
did
it
that before
the
too.
same?
I did that with a
Yeah.
tractor setup with an S8, I was running MIDI out of that into my Dig Attack, so I was able to run sample sequences on top of tracks that I was DJing. So that was fun at one point.
All right, yeah, all right. So I'm in that boat. So I use Tractor 2. I use the D2
Nice.
controller, the two D2s, and I did stems, and
Mm-hmm.
no one did stems. Now stems is a big deal. And so you would have 4 tracks, right? You have 2 tracks each controller, and so you have a total of what I believe it was. Each track had 8 stems, or 4 stems. I think it was 4 stems
Yeah.
each track. And so the kind of your world's your oyster. If you knew how to mix and include different synths and parts, I was like, all right. My style of mixing was always mixing multiple tracks at once, more than the DMC styles, cut and bake and chop like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would mix it in and the samples in versus all the cutting, and it allowed me to put analog space in a big mixer and include an instrument. So instead of using a stem that was used to normally, I'd use an analog instrument. And so that's how I became hybrid, even though I knew a little bit of Ableton and I knew how Richie Houghton, I followed him as Plastic Man and such. And through years of using Ableton, I just didn't want to get on the computer with my setup, but I had Tractor. So I ended up going that route and testing it with the stems as well. And I was like, oh, no. I'm going to stick with turntables now and use my Digitac stuff. And yeah, that hybrid setup there, the Mini Freaks and Arturia stuff, and I went through all those little placebos, small synths, roll-ins, boutique
Oh yeah.
synths, trying to feel
That's
out
how that
some of
was the
them.
gateway for me. The Volcas. That was the
Oh, I
gateway.
had the Volcas.
Yeah.
I have Volca keys, Volca bass, amazing. Um, and I have them for show here as like room ornaments.
Yeah, I got rid of mine because they were fine ornaments, but I was like, I can make some money with those ornaments. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and eventually the
there comes
60,
a
80
time.
bucks. Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean the Canadian dollars, it's even more. I sold them for like 150,
No, it's real good. Yeah.
which
So yeah, I got a
translates
bunch of
roughly
cool
to what you
ornaments
said too.
around.
Yeah.
I got Daft Punk helmets and
Oh,
cool little
what?
things. Yeah, I got a bunch of
That's
cool little
crazy.
things
Did you
around the
get them made?
studio. No, I bought them off someone who had them,
Okay.
and yeah, and they don't have the LEDs in them. Those are like $2,000.
Yeah, I
But
wouldn't want that, honestly. Like the
no, but yeah, these
2000
are good though.
era,
Yeah,
yeah, I like the newer stuff personally for the helmets.
yeah. Yeah, and so these are cool. They just hang around as ornaments. I took them out for a spin during Halloween, and too much people wanted to put it on. I mean, I couldn't walk 8 feet without
Oh,
someone
I
asking
bet
me
that
because I
would
let
be
someone
me.
else do it. It was intense. It was intense, and
Let me try it on, bro.
oh yeah, but the amount of boobies that wanted them too. It was fun. It's like walking around with a puppy. I was single that time, and when I first took them out to VIP, and that was fun. But yeah, like a bunch of cool ornaments, and some people like to keep vintage scents around and not even turn them on, right? And hang them around the room. I don't think I'm going to be that type of guy.
Yeah, no, you got to play that
I'm quite
stuff.
sustainable. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have, like, again, I'm not in that tax bracket where I can just let things sit around like that and not feel bad. It's got to be used if I paid that much money for it. Oh, but yeah, Christian, I gotta hop off. Um, but yeah, no, it's been a pleasure talking with you, buddy.
Likewise, appreciate meeting you and chat there personally.
And I really appreciate
I
what you said earlier about just the funk day and you stumbling across it. And I definitely hope to come down to Miami and at least check out that warehouse, bring a few pieces of gear and jam out. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, it's totally cool, man. And like I said, hopefully get you booked and to to get exposed out here a little further. The dollar scene is definitely growing, and you belong in it. So, you know, for those in the community or in a chat here and here, you know, that comes to you too, as well as Funktuate, you know, where there's hard work, you know, you just practice, practice, practice. If you haven't started yet, I think, and me and a lot of other people think that with where the saturation of where DJing is at and the amount of the increase of dollars, there is booking. Like
that's the
you
main
could have a
inspiration.
future,
Yeah.
and there's a cool journey with it as well. So power to you guys, and thanks for having me. Yeah.
Of course, buddy. Appreciate your time. That was one hell of a story, and you're doing some great things. You're definitely in a very unique vein in the industry, and we hope that you continue doing what you're doing for the people and for yourself. Hell yeah.
Yeah, happy to do another a podcast with you guys if you do like a Thursday thing around it with a program, and show you guys a live feed of the studio with a jam session, and
that would be sick.
You know, share the clock. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Sharing the clock, that's one thing I want to look at. But yeah, tomorrow I'm planning on doing another one of those vertical streams to tap into some new algorithms. So definitely check that out. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about doing that. Yeah, did you catch that last time when I was like trying to go vertical because it shows up in the shorts feed? And a lot more people. Yeah, so I'm gonna give that another try tomorrow before I hop on for my race night. So, yeah,
cool.
But yeah,
nice.
Thanks, Christian. You have a good rest of your night, and yeah, hopefully see you around the interwebs here soon. If not in person, hopefully sooner.
Right on. Later, party people.
All right, take care. Peace out. Well, y'all, that's Christian. He does some pretty dope stuff. Where's the microphone? Jeez, I wasn't even talking properly. But yeah, I got to head off, guys. You guys take care. I'm going to be live tomorrow, early-ish, probably around the 7 o'clock mark or 6:30. We'll see what time. But yeah, I'm going to do another little vertical stream thing, experiment with the algorithm, play some live music, heavily inspired by tonight's conversation with the techno and all that stuff from Christian Doming there. So thanks, everybody. Sorry I didn't get to too many of the chats. DJ Sunset, we'll see about a call here soon, buddy. No promises. But yeah, you guys are all amazing. Thanks for checking it out. You guys have a good rest of your night.